Hey folks, this is Matt Rainwater here, and today we're going to be reading Trailer Park Warlock episode. What are we on? 15 now? If you haven't noticed, I did change the layout on these videos because originally I figured this would just be something where you'd be listening to the audio, but hey, why not make it look better, right? So, anyway, um, new improved format. Let's get started. We're picking up from last week's our the one of the episodes I covered last week, which was episode 14. And this episode is called Illusionists and Conjurers. So, if y'all recall, Darla's been abducted by aliens. Jake is on a coast to coast AM like radio show, and we open with Darla coming to. She is becoming aware of her situation, and also notice she's got some sigils that she was putting on herself just before she was abducted. And we see the aliens here. They've got this weird, just looks like a floating PC desktop, doesn't it? There's a laser shooting onto her forehead. What happens next? We'll find out. Alright, and so we cut back to Shore to Shore FM. First time caller, this is Shore to Shore. Hi, Don. Art. That's right. I forgot, this is an Art Bell reference. Hi, Don. Art from Nevada here. First time caller, long time fan. As someone who's had a number of experiences, I want to ask Jake if he had any spells or sigils that would protect me from alien abductions. Well, Art, there's a bunch of sigils out there that'll protect you while you sleep. And so this is something I really like about this episode is it's a cutting back and forth, or not cutting back and forth, but it's an overlay, right? It's an overlay of Jake talking while action takes place between Darla and the aliens. Depending on who's bugging you, it'll call for different sigils. This, by the way, this like look on Darla's face, the close up in this close up shot. Okay, this was a shot that was requested by my editor to add, but also the inspiration for it is if you look at one of the more infamous snapshots, I guess, or photographs of Aleister Crowley. This is taken exactly from that look that he has. It's one of the most popular ones you'll find because there's the one where he's doing like. There's the one of the popular ones is the one where he's like got his fists on his face, kind of like this, and he's wearing like wearing that golden. I guess it's Golden Dawn or it's OTO hat. I can't remember which organization. But there's another one that it's just him kind of plainly dressed. And he's got this look on his face. So anyway, little tidbit. My personal recommendation would be the lock of caffeine. I don't know if that's obvious, but that name is just caffeine. I just made like a more mystical name. It'll keep your body alert during sleep, and in the event you're in trouble, grant you a whole lot of strength and energy. Earlier, Jake, it sounded like you were pretty skeptical about these abduction experiences, but it sounds like right now you're giving a lot of legitimacy. I say it's a legit concern to be worried about what goes on while you sleep. There's a lot of bother, alien or not, that can happen when you're out. All respects to your caller, he might want to look into xenomancy and xenology. Xenomancy, you say? And so, yeah, there's Art Bell eating cereal. He's got a cat. I couldn't fit because he had two cats, as I recall. I didn't have enough room to fit. What was it? One of them was named Yeti, and I can't remember what the other one's name was. Anyway, yeah, a lot of illusionists and conjurers practice xenomancy, usually as part of some theft scheme. You can protect yourself from that kind of trickery by inscribing the Eye of Solomon on your forehead. And then what if that doesn't work? Might be dealing with xenology. That's a bit more complicated. The government's always hiring xenologists. So Darla has inscribed, what was it called? The Lock of Solomon? Oh, the Eye of Solomon, right? Yeah, the Eye of Solomon. So she can see through this illusion that's being created by the cab roaches, as y'all remember from previous story arc, when she was getting her cab fixed with Gran's help. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was your problem, Art. Do you know if xenomancers and xenologists work together, Mr. Baker? They sure do. Sometimes with the government, sometimes on their own, sometimes just for kicks. You can never really know. That was an added panel from the relaunch. Well, Mr. Baker, how would you inscribe these sigils? Oh, that's a really great question. Blood, paint, ink, really just about anything. I use stamps myself. Word of advice, though. Be real careful when you're confronting either xenomancers or xenologists. Sure, odds are good they'll bend, especially if it's just xenomancers. They're a cowardly lot that I'd rather flee than fight. But if you're hanging out with xenologists, you ain't dealing with just illusions anymore. So basically, xenology is magic that actually summons alien weapons. Which is, the more I think about it, it's just an utterly ridiculous idea. Thank you, Art. We're going to take another caller, west of the Rockies. Is your guest saying that in the great expanse of our seemingly infinite universe that there isn't a single extraterrestrial civilization out there? There are plenty of reasons to believe in aliens, sir. That ain't my issue here. All I'm saying is that a lot of alien experiences are the work of tricksters. Why would advanced civilizations with magics and liturgies of unknown reckoning need to steal people from their beds anyhow? They don't need to enslave humans. They can just build them. So this is the very first reference to the Will of Abandon. It looks a little tiny bit different. We can just say she hasn't finished making it. Because there still needs to be like another circle. Or that dot needs to be small and it needs to be another. Because it's 2 open circles and 1 closed circle in the center. And all the lines are correct. I think, yeah. And when I was first writing this episode, I had no idea that I was going to be going with it the way that I did end up doing it in season 2. I really just, like, in season 2, I built off of stuff I had already established in season 1. Which is often the case of how I write. I mean, I try and have a general plan, but I always knew that I was going to try and do something with what I'm establishing in this episode. I just didn't know quite exactly if it would be the way it turned out, right? Like, we'll get to that in season 2. So anyway, there ain't nothing going on in our bodies they couldn't simulate with their advanced logomancies. We've got nothing they ain't seen before. And so these are, of course, events that build off, right, of this episode. There are events that build off of this episode that take place in season 2, as y'all find out in season 3 as well. And I want, my intention is to have that be a thread that runs through the entire story. So who are you saying is responsible for these abduction experiences? By the way, shout out. These panels are a shout out to I can never remember his name. Giorgio, my man Giorgio, the aliens meme guy. And what about the thousands of UFO sightings being reported every day all around the world? What about all the unexplained advances in human ingenuity like Stonehenge, the pyramids of Giza, and soft-serve frozen yogurt? Well, sir, like I think Mr. Baker said before, it's a confluence of different variables. Some of it is tricksters, the government, probably the secret shadow government, sleep paralysis, angels, hyperdimensional time beings, shadow people. Maybe. Not real certain myself. I just know it's probably not little green men from Mars. Looks like the jury's still out, eh? And so we see the crashed spaceship, and Darla's truck drives out. There's a lot of controversy with tonight's guest. At the bottom of the hour, we will get back to talking with Jake Baker about the secret origins of magic and alien abductions on Shore to Shore FM. And that's the end of the episode. So, any final thoughts on my part? One of my favorite episodes from season 1. Like I said before last time, Coast to Coast AM was a huge influence on me in terms of writing the story, just because of all the ideas that float through my head after listening to an episode. Something that happened for me after a while is I just started to really, even though it was utterly ridiculous often, I started to appreciate the mythology that would begin to come together as like more and more hosts would come, or not hosts, but guests would come on the show, but also listening to callers talk about all of the paranormal experiences they have and how they try and piece everything together. There's extremely elaborate mythology that comes together after a while, and Trailer Park Warlock, in a big way, is me weaving together my own mythology from all that, and so having sort of like a weird world built out of like, well, what if all those things in Coast to Coast AM were true? What kind of world would that? I mean, we kind of in a way live in that world, but what could that world also look like? And so anyway, that's my final take, I guess, from this episode. So as always, if you'd like to follow me on social media, that's at Matt J. Rainwater on Twitter, at Matthew Rainwater on Instagram, and of course, if you're watching this, you already follow me on Patreon, probably, but just in case, patreon.com/Matt J. Rainwater. And we will do this again soon. I will see you all again next time, and I hope you're all having a good day. All right, I'll talk to you later.